Hi, good morning everyone. Let's get started with our next training session, which is on Unicode upgrade. Okay, so basically what is a Unicode system and why we need to upgrade it to Unicode system, that is pretty important to note. Say for example your system is having either a Japanese language or Korean language or West European view, and the requirement is that you may need to support other language from other countries or other regions which is not using these default languages. So if there are multiple countries and if you want to support globally, then this may not work out. You need to go for a Unicode support. So Unicode, basically there are different formats of language, which is here you can see in this particular screen. What I am showing is that you have your English language, some is defined as, so different language packs are installed: English language, French, Japanese, German. So all these are defined separately. We need to install it separately and we need to maintain it separately. So how do we find a standard solution to get away from this particular maintenance of separate regional and international languages? So the solution is Unicode. Unicode is a character encoding schema containing almost all characters used worldwide. You can see that Unicode will have all types of character, whether your language is Arabic or Chinese or English or Hindi or Italian or Japanese, Korean, Russian. So you can use any type of language if you are using a Unicode character encoding base. So languages supported in Unicode system, you can see this is a huge list of the languages which are supported in the Unicode. Okay, support for Unicode migration. Basic idea, it's basically the current situation on 4.6c. many customers use MDMP systems. On my SAP ERP 2005, MDMP will not be supported any longer, and current systems the MDMP is no more there. MDMP customers have to execute an upgrade and run the Unicode conversion immediately afterward. With the current offering, this is usually not possible on one weekend. So whenever customers is moving away from say 4.6c system, 4.7 systems, where they are using MDMP support because previously there was no Unicode. So to get into Unicode, we need to upgrade it. We need to do an export import before we can get into the Unicode system. So basic idea is the Unicode conversion has several steps that can run at uptime. Some of these steps can be executed before the upgrade on the start release or on the shadow system. This requires the downport the SPUMG to 4.6c, integrate Unicode conversion steps in the upgrade, adjust upgrade post processing to the new model. Okay, here you can see the sequential activities which is listed down, that is uptime, what we can do. Then after that upgrade, during an upgrade, then downtime phase, what can be done, and Unicode conversion takes place during, say, you can see that what activities is getting performed at which particular stage. So what we do is we integrate the phases so that Unicode conversion, some of the activities can be performed during the uptime phase and the remaining can be performed at the downtime phase. So support for Unicode migration details is in the prepare phase under UC MIG underscore decision. So if you have a system as MDMP or BCP system, Unicode migration is required. If you have SCP system, Unicode migration is possible. Okay, then while running the upgrade in the phase tool IMP4 underscore UC MIG, that is module import, then you have UC MIG underscore status underscore set 0, UC MIG underscore RIC INC. Unicode preparation on start release. Basically we can use the transaction called SPUMG that needs to be completed when the shadow system is started. Set status to 1, that is preparations on start released finished. Okay, upgrade, that is uptime. Here you can see different things which can be performed in the uptime phase. Okay, in the shadow system, basically there is a job which we need to run it. Okay, and lastly we need to generate Unicode name tabs from inactive name tabs, because in the old system the name tabs are not Unicode, so we need to upgrade it and make it active using Unicode. So downtime, basically we need to fill all these TIR, DIR, RLoad. Okay, then we need to regenerate Unicode name tabs from active name tabs if name tab had changed in the previous generation. Okay, then we need to change the status. Okay, prerequisites. So what should be the prerequisites for running it into the system? So first thing is preparation step in the transactions PUMG. So here you can see the worker list which need to be initialized. That is the first step. So the first step in the execution phase of Unicode is initialization of the work list, which can be done in the source system using the transaction calls SPUMG. Okay, now UTF-8 and UTF-16. Unicode transformation format is UTF-8 encoding. Fixed length 1 character is 2 bytes, surrogates 2 into 2 bytes. Platform dependent byte alignment, 16-bit alignment restriction. Then you have UTF-8. So Unicode transformation format is 8-bit encoding. Okay, now there is additional requirement for hardware for the Unicode conversion. Basically, to support Unicode we require more hardware. Basically we need more CPU and RAM and disk size as well. So your CPU requirement goes up by 30%, your RAM requirement goes up by 50%, your database size can increase up to 35%, and the network load increases as well. Now here in this particular case, while we are running this PUMG, we can reset all scans. So that is one thing that we need to take note, that when we are starting into it, when we are getting into it, when we are running it for the first time, we may not know how many times before it has been started by other people. So we just need to make sure that we are resetting all scan before moving forward. And after that we initialize the language list. Okay, now the language list is initialized. Add inactive language list if any, so we need to add any of the inactive language lists. Scanner setting, we need to complete these settings. Here you can see that worker list initialization. Okay, schedule worker job. So PUMG status after pre-Unicode conversion. So Unicode export, basically we need to make sure that we delete all the QCM table because they are not handled properly during the conversion. Check for pending update, make sure that there is no update. Using SM13 we can check that. Check for running background job, perform UC check, perform DB consistency check, and update DB statistics, because if we don't update the statistics before, it takes lot of time to perform and carry out the export. We need to perform all system copy steps which are relevant, mount the DVDs and create a dump directory for Unicode dump, and after that make sure that GR is also available. Now when we run the export, here you can see that there are 3 different phases: export preparation, table splitting, and database export. Okay, so we'll start the export, database export, perform package and table splitting if required, and we need to use parallel process as many as possible, because thumb rule is CPU times 1.5, but good performance seen with 2 processes for CPU. So use new system tools like Migmon and Distmon to reduce downtime. Okay, the import, basically we need to prepare the system for the import, copy the export dump into the importing system, and this is how we can import it in the target system. So it asks for 2 different options. We have an option to use start migration monitor if required. Now it asks for the export, so we need to give the export where we have downloaded. Okay, once this is done, we need to run some of the activities for post import. Okay, now we need to run T code called I18N. Alright, this is what actually I wanted to cover in this particular training session. Thank you for joining and have a nice day. Bye bye.